Hey guys, Sam here, and today I'm going to be going over the time that I almost bought a wrecked BMW E60 M5. So I was searching Craigslist and Facebook looking for a BMW M car that I could get for cheap and either fix it up, make a profit, or part it out. And one day, a 2006 BMW M5 popped up, and immediately it caught my attention. It was listed for only $8,600, and it had a clean title with only 105,000 miles on it. And I clicked on the ad, and the first thing that I noticed, obviously, I'll put the pictures up now, was that it needed a lot of front end parts. It basically needed an entire front clip. So what that means is it needed both headlights, it needed a bumper, it needed grills, it needed probably a hood, radiators, which is pretty expensive, but for the right price, this car could be worth it. It also needed airbags from what I could tell, but that was about it. So after some back and forth with the seller, he brought the price down to $6,500, and at that point I was really interested. I did my calculations, you could say, and I figured I could probably get somewhere between 10 to 15 grand for the car, and I could also probably, if I wanted to part it out, I could take about 11 grand in parts off the car, assuming that everything works properly. So I decided I'm going to drive down there. I didn't commit to buying it, but I was really interested and I wanted to check it out. So I basically emptied out my entire bank account, $6,000 cash in a fanny pack, drove all the way out there, and I checked out the car. So my first impressions of the car were actually pretty good. The body looked really nice, obviously aside from the front end. There wasn't any scrapes or scratches or dings or anything on any of the doors, side sills, rear bumper. That all looked really nice. So I was really intrigued by the car. And the next thing I did was I asked them to start it. And that's when the problem started. So they tried it at first. The car cranked, but it didn't start. And so they said, okay, the battery's probably dead. We're going to put a charger pack on it and see if it'll start. And at that point, honestly, I wasn't really that suspicious. I mean, it's understandable. The guy told me the car had been sitting there since July, which is about 4 or 5 months. And so that was understandable that the battery was dead. So we waited a little while. They put the chargers on. We waited about 20 minutes, and it still wasn't starting. So I was like, okay, what can we do? Can we swap a new battery in here? Do we need to put jumper cables? We tried both of those things, still didn't start, completely dead. And at that point, I was getting a little suspicious. So he was telling me that it just started a few days ago, and he showed me a video he had on his phone. And honestly, I wanted to believe him, but it's $6,000, you know? So for that amount of money to spend on a car that doesn't start, it's really risky. So I was not interested in buying the car if it didn't start. So we wait a little while, he tries a couple other things, and eventually at some point they're able to get the car into accessory mode. So I was able to check out all the electronics, the navigation screen, the heads-up display, the tail lights, all that stuff. And everything worked, and so that was refreshing to see that all that was good. And I caught a glimpse in the corner of my eye on the main iDrive screen. It said transmission fault detected, and that is a big red flag, especially on a mid-2000s BMW with an SMG transmission, which was one of the main selling points on this car for me. Was I was expecting I could probably get $2 grand for the transmission if it was working. at that point I was pretty discouraged, despite the fact that the car looked really nice. I mean, the interior, it had the white interior. I'll put some pictures on the screen. It was a really nice car. But at that point, I had to just cut my losses and head home. I wasted probably about 6 hours, although I don't really think it was wasted, because in retrospect, I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, but from knowing what I knew, looking at the ad, there's no way I could have known it was in the condition that it was, so I don't really regret going there. I certainly think I made the right decision not buying the car, although it was tough. I mean, whenever I'm in a situation like this, I always have to, take a step back and make sure I'm not getting too emotionally invested, because, whenever you look at a car like that, you always want to believe that it's better than it actually is. You want to try to find excuses to be like, hey, that's not a big deal, I drove all the way out here, the car looks nice, these guys seem nice, I'm gonna buy it. But you gotta really try to take a step back and look at it objectively, because that's how you really get screwed buying a car like this. And I did not want to, be 12 grand into this car. Especially because, for me, that's a lot of money. I mean, usually I deal with cars that are, $500, $1,000, $2,000. And so, while I could technically afford this car, it was a pretty big stretch. I mean, I basically had to empty out my bank account, and it would have been very stressful to have to deal with any problems that might arise. And knowing what I know about E60 M5s, every little problem is very expensive. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe.